Welcome back to you.
दिल नमाजी है कि काफिर खुदा जाने, अश्क में आग है कि पारा खुदा जाने, हंसी में रंग है कि फरीब खुदा जाने, जिसमें प्यास है कि तड़प खुदा जाने।
आजकल तुझे प्यास नहीं लगती?
इश्क जुनू है कि हवस खुदा जाने।
Recently, I found myself engrossed and even obsessed with Macbeth. This might be because of the recently released tragedy of Macbeth by Joel Cohen.
Something wicked this way comes.
Or it's near the time again when Irrfan passed away. His death has personally affected me in ways I do not wish to share, but this I can share. Let's talk about Maqbool. Maqbool is the first in the series of 3 appropriations of Shakespeare by Vishal Bhardwaj, which includes Omkara and Haider. Maqbool transports us to the underbelly of modern mafia in Mumbai from the medieval Scotland as in the Bard's play. From the first shot itself, Maqbool feels eerie and unnerving. The opening scene is similar to the first act of Shakespeare's play. It starts with thunder and lightning, and we see Pandit and Purohit, played brilliantly by legendary Om Puri and Nasruddin Shah.
इसके भविष्य में उंगली डाल रहे हो पंडित जी?
मुंबई।
They are the metamorphosed versions of the 3 witches. The blood splashes on the horoscope made by Pandit.
देख के मारा कर यार, सारी मुंबई खून से भर दी।
This powerful scene sets the future course of the film. Then ensues the hunger for power, sexual jealousy, betrayal, and the madness caused by guilt. Bhardwaj's portrayal of Maqbool's character depicts a similar journey like that of Shakespeare's Macbeth.
आप मन्नतें बहुत मांगती है।
पूरी तो एक भी नहीं होती।
In the beginning of the play, Macbeth is introduced to us as a general of extraordinary prowess, but his ambition leads him towards a life of destruction. The constant instigation from his wife, Lady Macbeth,
look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it.
The prophecies of the witches compel him to murder the noble King Duncan.
All hail Macbeth, that shall be king hereafter.
The character of Maqbool also follows a similar pattern. When the film opens up, Maqbool, played by Irrfan, is seen as the most loyal and trusted member of Abbaji's gang. Abbaji, played by Pankaj Kapoor, loves him, and a father-son-like bond exists between the two.
कितनी मोहब्बत से पका रहा है यार, जी करता है अपना गोश्त पकवा दूं तेरी बिरयानी।
But soon all the love and respect gets replaced by the ambition caused by the prophecies of Pandit.
अब्बाजी की गद्दी मियाँ की है, किंग ऑफ किंग।
चुप सारे कुछ चुप।
And the sexual jealousy ignited by his love for Nimmi. Nimmi is played by Tabu, and she is the personification of Lady Macbeth. And how Bhardwaj has adapted her opens up a whole universe of passion play, which was unexplored in the original text.
मेरी जान,
एहसान कर रहे हो? प्यार से बोलो ना।
Maqbool revels in the politics of lust and passion, with a vigor seldom witnessed in the Hindi cinema. It brings a sense of pain and redemption, which was rarely depicted in the Hindi mainstream cinema. In Maqbool, Vishal Bhardwaj takes the emotional content beyond any other film of the crime or mafia genre. In the play, the ambition of Macbeth to become the king was the sole motive behind killing Duncan, who was a father figure to him. But unlike the play, Maqbool murders Abbaji because of his sexual jealousy. His prime motive is to gain Nimmi's love, and therefore taking Abbaji's position becomes secondary. This changed the dynamics of the relationships completely. Suddenly, the sexual conflict becomes the core of the screenplay, and for Maqbool, Nimmi becomes the throne herself. The screenplay constructs a pyramid of doom with a cyclical inevitability. We know these outlaws are doomed, but their journey to their imminent ruination still pulls us in. The structuring of the two sets of love stories between Nimmi and Maqbool and Abbaji's innocent daughters Samira and Guddu is an ingenious method of projecting the two aspects of love, the murky and the unviolated. Here it is important to note that the relationship between Macbeth and Lady Macbeth was a holy relationship guided by holy vows. They are legitimate husband and wife, but the film portrays a forbidden romance between Maqbool and Nimmi. Through Nimmi, Bhardwaj tries to rebuild the character of Lady Macbeth. She is not merely a woman of strong will, but possessed of evil passion.
अब्बाजी की जगह तुम कभी नहीं ले सकते।
क्यों?
डरपोक हो तुम।
From the dialogue, it becomes clear that Nimmi has begun her game to instigate Maqbool against Abbaji. After the murder of Abbaji, with each passing day, Maqbool grows rich in crime. He becomes more villainous, brutal, and inhuman, while Nimmi, on the other hand, becomes more of a human wreck. But the guilt does not leave Maqbool alone also. He is haunted by his own actions. When in the emotionally charged finale, the dying Nimmi asks Maqbool, we are looking at the underbelly of passion through a fantastic top-angle lens, where crime is simultaneously subjective and objective. You feel nothing but empathy for Maqbool and Nimmi's Lady Macbeth in particular, which was rare when compared to the Shakespeare's original character. The credit for it must go to Tabu. Even in her most horrific, self-seeking moments, Tabu preserves the poetry of violence in her performance. Hemant Chaturvedi's cinematography, particularly in the scenes capturing the dark guilt and the inescapable atonement of the murderous lovers, is beyond anything imaginable in terms of cinematic expressiveness. However, I must say that editing is rough in places, but I guess some scenes were removed because of the censor board at that time. Irrfan dons the tormented, conscience-stricken protagonist. Irrfan's Maqbool goes from stern self-denial to tortured crime and retribution. Irrfan clutches at the character's throat and makes it articulate even in the most inaudible emotions. Pankaj Kapoor is a revelation. His expressions of steely revenge melts into the display of utter compassion for his enchanting wife. His portrayal of Abbaji lends the character the gravity that was missing in King Duncan. From his walk to his demeanor, everything about Abbaji is power. Here's one of my favorite dialogue of Abbaji. He still manages to make the hair stand up on the back of my neck. Now coming to the parallels and digressions from Macbeth. When Shakespeare wrote Macbeth in the year 1606, the idea of witches worked well to heighten the suspense and the mystery in the play. But when Bhardwaj decided to adapt Maqbool in the year 2003, no audience would have accepted the concept of witches making prophecies for the protagonist. Thus, Pandit and Purohit are born. They are intelligent, cold-blooded, and humble. They can take insults, but they are ever watchful. They are not loud, but they are lethal. They are not the passive players, unlike the three witches of Macbeth. Both Macbeth and Maqbool use the darkness of the night as a shield to hide their heinous crimes. Seeking refuge in the night's dark hour, they fulfill their deepest desires. Rain, storm, thunder, and lightning are symbolic of the foreboding disorder in Shakespeare's play. The film also opens up with a similar description of raging violent weather. The famous dagger scene from Macbeth has been modified to Maqbool hallucinating blood spilled on the ground before he goes to kill Abbaji. Another major difference is the use of soliloquies. Through his long soliloquy, Macbeth informs the audience about his conflicting views. Few of the notable soliloquies of Macbeth consist of the dagger scene.
Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand?
The appearance of Banquo's ghost.
Hold. Look, no, I'll say you.
The blood stains on Lady Macbeth.
Here's the smell of the blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand.
And the death of Lady Macbeth.
Life is but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage. And then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
In Maqbool, Vishal Bhardwaj chooses to use his actor's prowess instead. The decision is because of the difference in the art medium and also because of the luxury of having powerful actors.
You know, there were so many great actors together in one frame in Maqbool that I used to behave like a kid behind the camera.
One very important character that Bhardwaj introduces in the film is that of Nimmi's child. Unlike the play where there is no such mention of Lady Macbeth having any children, Nimmi gives birth to a child before dying. However, who is the father of the child is not made clear, and this remains an unsolved mystery in the film. Irony is intricately woven into the plot of Macbeth.
Fair is foul, and foul is fair.
It helps to build and maintain suspense and create a vague sense of fear and mystery. In Maqbool, there are also many scenes where one could witness the presence of irony. In one scene, Abbaji tries to calm down Maqbool, who is furious because ACP Devsare has slapped him. Abbaji consoles him saying,
कल से रमजान है, ईद तक कुछ नहीं.
On one hand, he is expressing his regard for the pious festival, while on the other, he is assuring revenge. Another ironic scene opens with the peace prayers going on for Abbaji. Maqbool and Nimmi are listening to the priest attentively, and they are praying that Abbaji's soul may rest in peace.
Allah Ta'ala Abbaji ki ruh ko sukoon pahunchaye.
The scene is ironic as the murderers are praying for the victim's soul. In Maqbool, the spirit of joylessness is celebrated in a language that's poetic and pristine. In both Macbeth and Maqbool, the order that is disturbed in the beginning gets restored in the end. In the play, Macduff kills Macbeth and carries his head on stage, and Malcolm is placed on the throne. The order is restored because the legitimate heir of King Duncan is crowned as king. In the film, however, order gets restored when Guddu and Samira lovingly accepts the child of Nimmi. Their act of humanity compensates for all the bloodshed and enmity. Now that's what you need. A good story developed into a comprehensive script, appropriate characterizations, a set of hard-working actors, a cameraman who has a good sense of composition, an amazingly apt music and score, and a fearless director who stays true to his vision. And if they are backed by a trusting producer, cinema magic is bound to happen.
I wanted to make a film in underworld genre, and it didn't start from Shakespeare or from Macbeth. And accidentally I happened to read Macbeth in an abridged version of Lamb's stories. You know, it's like they come in short story versions.
It is to be mentioned that despite making changes in the setting, location, language and the plot, the film remains loyal to Shakespeare in its essence.
The human being has not changed for past 450 years.
The idea of crime, the concept of fear and evil, the portrayal of disturbed natural order are all the same as in the original text, maintaining the Shakespearean spirit.
The hunger for power, it has not changed. So that's why his stories are still so relevant, and it can be adapted to any language, any culture, any country, any time zone.
And they still remain universal in nature, even after 400 years. And this is why I love Maqbool. If you like the video, kindly give a thumbs up and subscribe. If you are new to the channel, check out the other videos. And till next time, stay safe and have a good time.